Hi everyone and welcome to my channel today. So this is the card that I'm actually going to recreate using a completely different colour palette and collection. So this original one was using the Peony collection for the papers, the wild Aster flowers and also the sweet Magnolia flowers. And then the actual decorative dies that I've used here are from the Filigree collection. Then I did another one in purples and golds. So there you go, that's the other one that I did. And with this one, I've used the Clematis flowers. I've used some little blossoms that I've made from the Hollyhock collection, some of the greenery from the Italiana Riviera collection. I've also used some of the filigree elements here, some of the dies, the ovals here, and this edge-shaped one here, and also the butterfly I've used from the now this one I have to think about it. So this one was actually from the delightful Daffodil and Butterfly collection, and then I think the inner one, the one underneath there, I used from the Floral Butterfly collection. So I've kind of used a bit of a mixture of things on here. But the one that I'm actually going to create today is actually using completely different collection. So I'm going to go with the wild rose papers. I'm going for the same hollyhock flowers that I've made here. And the roses are from the wild rose collection. And then I'm also going to use all the elements from the Filigree collection. Not 100% sure which ones I'm going to use yet. I've got quite a few down beside me. So the actual card measures 5.5 by 7. And then what I've done is I've cut a strip down the side here. It wasn't sort of meant to be like that. This was when I first did the very first card. I don't really know where I was going with it, but I decided I was going to go ahead and do it on this card as well. So I've cut off about 1 inch there. To be honest, it's actually nice to use some of those strips that we always get left with when we're putting a card together. So sometimes it's actually nice to do a bit of a card that's a little bit different. So then my panel, I've actually cut slightly smaller. So this is obviously going to be measuring 4 3/4. So I've gone slightly smaller, just a smidgen smaller, so that I've got that nice cream edge around it. Then I'm going to lay this flat on my card base. Okay, so this is, I've gone for sort of like one of the real patterny papers from the paper collection. And I'm just going to stick that down. And I don't always use those sort of like real patterny papers. I just sort of like use strips of them. But then when I start putting the card together, it kind of works really well. So what I've done is I've got 2 borders. One I think is 1.25 inches. Then I've done one just under 1 inch and layered those on top with some foam tape. And then that's going to go down the center of my card. I'm going to put that flat. Okay, so that is going to go in the middle, like that. Make sure that's straight. And then down this side bit, we're just going to open that up. So rather than waste a full sheet as well, it kind of decorates the inside of your card, but you're not wasting a full sheet on the inside as either. So it kind of just sort of like really works in a few different ways. So make sure I get that pattern the same way up as I have on the front, which I have. Again, I've done that slightly smaller, so you've got that nice cream border coming through. And then I've cut a strip of this up. Well, actually it wasn't, it was just some oddments of strips that I've got. So I do have lots and lots of oddment boxes for my collections. So it's really handy sometimes to use some of those oddments up. Has got a script on it, so I'm just making sure that that script goes the right way, because that would be really frustrating. So that when I close that up, you've got that pattern down the side. Okay, so I'm just making sure that I am in shot, so you've got that full. Now see what I've done is I've got that the wrong way round. Can you see on that border? But to be honest, you're not actually going to see much of it. So we'll just go with it on this one. I'm not going to start the video and start it again, so we'll just go with it. So on the original cards, I used just the ovals, okay? But on this one, I'm going with that rectangle. I'm going to shadow it with the gold underneath and then over the top with a cream. It's a really nice lush cream cardstock that I use. It's an Amazon one. I think it costs around $12.99 for 15 sheets, but it's a really nice lush gold cream cardstock. The gold cardstock is from, this one is actually a hunky dory one. I've kind of tried to find something other than Heartfelt. With Heartfelt sort of not going to be around for much longer, I decided I needed to resource some gold cardstock that's going to cut nicely, and this one does cut perfectly. So I'm going to decide which way I'm going to do it. Do I go that way and then pop my oval on top that way, or do I go that way? So many options when you're using your decorative dies. It's like, and then go that way. Decisions. I'm going to go with this way, okay? I have to make my decision because we're videoing this and we don't want it to go on forever. So I'm going to pop that in the middle, just there. Make sure that's centered, so I've got the same space each side here. And got the same sort of space at the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to shadow that oval as well. So this is from the Filigree Oval collection. So they all kind of come from that same collection. From, I think this was 2022, what was last year? 2022. It was either early 2022 or it was 2021. I'm going that way with it. I am actually going to add a little bit of foam tape on this one just to heighten that up a little bit. But if you are posting your letters, you do know obviously yourselves that it's the cost, so you might not want to add quite so much depth on it. So I've shadowed that, and what we mean by shadow is it can be any coloured cardstock you have. You just sort of layer it, just offsetting it. So I'm not going to use this one on the outside. I'm actually going to put this on the inside, so it's somewhere that you can write your little message to the recipient. So I am going to shadow that. You can see, you can go down, you can go up, you can go to the left, you can go to the right when you're shadowing. Just a little bit poking through there, and that to me, look, it just gives it that elegant look when you've just got that small amount of gold coming through from your decorative dies. So I'm going to pop that in the middle, in there, and then that's just decorated the inside of that card, and then it kind of all coordinates. Then I've got some extra bits. Okay, Nikki always has extra bits if you know me. So I'm just going to glue these, again, all from those Filigree die collections. So this one is from the, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put this one up here, I think. No, I'm not. We're going to put it here. I'll tell you why in a minute, and it'll all come clear. Yeah, so all from the Filigree collection. I think these are the Filigree Accents. And I've got this one here. So if you don't have these dies, you know, you might have other decorative dies that can work really, really well with this. This is just to give you an example of how you can use your decorative dies on your cards. So just make sure that one is in sort of like the same area. It's going over that little triangle. That's how I kind of work out where I'm going. And bring that down just so that that is basically the same as that top one. And then I've got some corners here. Right, so initially when I thought about it, I was going to bring the corners down like this, but obviously you're going to hide some of them. So what I'm doing is just bring that up there a little bit. This one's going to go there. Right, what way are we going to do it? Am I going to have them coming off the middle? Yes, I am. So just going to add a little bit of glue. Now I have got some cut out in cream as well, just in case I decide to offset these as well. But I do want a little bit of gold coming through on this one as well. So predominantly cream. And then I've got that one. Now they are opposite each other, so that's the wrong one. So you've got two different dies with this one. That's the one that, so that's opposite. Okay, so you've got your left and your right one on these little elements here. So just dab a little bit of glue, just enough to pop that down. And once that's in place, I can then bring that down to where I need that to be. So that's just hitting the top of that cardstock, and then that one, I can't quite have that in the middle because that's not quite touching that edge, but that's absolutely fine. I'm happy with that because I have got lots of other bits to go on the card and you perhaps won't see it. So then I'm coming down this bottom bit here and I'm just going to, right, now I've got to make sure I've got the right, so they're going to be the wrong way. Hang on. So that one's the right one. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then that one. That's it. It's just trying to get it the right way. But I'm not too fussed, to be honest, because it's going to look really pretty anyway. But try and get that the same as that top one. So that's going to go there. So that one hits that side. So it can't quite be in the middle. Don't know how I got that wrong. But hey, it is what it is when we're making our cards. It will look all perfect when it's all finished. Just add a little bit of gold glue on that piece. Match that up there. Goes tight to that edge. And then just hold that down. And then just bring that over a little bit. That's it. So that's bought them bits. So now I'm getting like, I'm really liking this now. So then I've got a border. So now I have to decide which I'm going to shadow it with, because as I say, I do want quite a bit of gold in this. I tell you what, we're going to do it like this. So the cream is going to go on the top like this. And that will go there because you can, because it's two different dyes that I'm using from that Filigree collection, you still get a nice bit of gold coming through it, like that. And these all coordinate, you see, so it all kind of brings it together. So then I'm just going to glue that on the inside edge. That's quite neat on there, so I'm going to glue it down that way. So I'll just add some glue. You can use just double-sided tape for this if you wanted. And we will just pop that down there. Once I've got it in place, then I will cut off any ends that maybe go off the end. So I'm just going to check to make sure that's all correct. So there's just a tiny bit here that I just need to cut off that edge there. And I'll just bring that down, make sure that's glued in place. And that is my base card. So the base card for the purple one that I did was this one. I used different elements on it, of course, but that's sort of like same design card, but completely different sort of base using those same dies. It's just a really nice way of putting your cards together. Now here's the fun bit. So I've got, hopefully my glue gun is glued on. It isn't. I am just going to go and plug my glue gun in, and I do apologise, I don't know why it's not plugged in. Oh, but it would help because it wasn't plugged in at the plug. So anyway, mishap, but hey, this is what you get for doing YouTube videos and not being 100% prep. Right, I'm back now. Right, so what we'll do is, whilst we're just waiting for that heat gun it won't take a minute to heat up, is decide on where I'm going to have everything. So first of all, I'll show you some of the bits that I've got. So I've got some little rose leaves. These I have coloured in using my oxides. So I used my Distress oxides. I used Shabby Shutters and some bundled sage for those. Okay, sort of like I thought that went really nice with the papers. Then I've gone in, I wanted a little bit of deeper green just to give that a really sort of like a bit of a oomph, okay, because although I've gone pastels with this, I just wanted to bring a little bit of deeper colour in. This, I used my Zig Clean Colour brush pens, and I've used mid green, and I do believe it was olive. If I can find that mid green, I've got the same colour pens a good few times. It was olive green. So I just used those two greens. One's just slightly darker than the other. If you just look at that colour there, look. Okay, I will be doing some videos, more into sort of depth videos on colouring. So if you're loving what you're watching, do subscribe and like the video, because I do have a lot coming up once we get July out the way. So if you are new to my channel and you're wondering, okay, this is a nice thingy, who is Nikki, where is she from? So I'm known as Nikki Craft along the crafting world, okay? So I predominantly work on Create and Craft TV, demonstrating for many brands, mainly Heartfelt Creations over the last couple of years, but I have worked with lots of other companies in the past. Spellbinders, let's have a look, old to new, trying to think. I've done Dress My Craft, quite a few other companies as well. So over the sort of course of the next few months, you will see me be using lots of different brands, and not just Heartfelt, but I do want to always keep my Heartfelt in here as well. So you will see a lot of videos using Heartfelt, maybe Heartfelt dies, Heartfelt flowers, and maybe using somebody else's paper pads, say Graphic 45 or some other paper pads in there. Ciao Bella, I've got some great shows coming up with a company called Ciao Bella. They are from Italy. They do some absolutely gorgeous papers on there, stencils, stamps. The only thing they don't do is dies. I did actually forget to put my sentiment on, so that is actually a good thing that my glue gun wasn't quite ready, because we need my sentiment on there. So I've used the smaller ones, and I've heat embossed this with one of my stamps from Heartfelt Creations sentiment stamps, which says have a wonderful day. So we are going to pop that in the centre there. So that was a good thing. Oh, look at that. I mean, that just looks gorgeous on its own. You could just put one butterfly on there, look, and you have got an absolutely stunning card. But I've got roses. So I've made some roses from the Wild Rose collection. I will be uploading a video on how to make these roses in the next few days. Lots of colouring involved in these. These ones I did as a watercolouring technique. So that will be on my YouTube in the next few days. The colours I will list in my next video when I do the roses. These ones I have used the Hollyhock, and for the colours I've done a watercoloured effect, and I've gone with tea dye, tattered rose, and antique linen. Okay, just a tiny bit of all three, but again, there will be a video coming up in the next week or two of those. I've also made some buds with the roses, and I put those on wires. Again, another video coming up on how we created those. Okay, so as I say, you know, just bear with me, just give me a few weeks. I've got so much on at the moment, especially with my lives on Create and Craft next week. But once they have gone, then there will be lots of new videos coming up. I have got so many ideas on where I'm going with the videos. So now that my glue gun is all heated up, I am going to glue and start with just adding the darker green. Okay, don't need too much glue, just barely warm, but that is going to be where I want my flowers. Okay, so I want this to look slightly different to the other cards that I made. So we're going to go in with that large rose as the focal point there. I don't want too much on it, but I know me, when I start going for it, I'm going to go for it. Let's add a few of these just to see where we're going to go with it. So we'll just trim this down. So they are going flat. I don't want the wires on them. And then I've got my rosebuds as well. So let's have a look. So we're going to trim the rosebud. I'm just going to reach for my other scissors, which have got like a wire cutter on them, because obviously that's going through quite a bit of wire. So sometimes it's nice to actually have them on a wire. I've even wired the little leaves so they've got some movability with them, so you can move them around, look. But again, there will be a video, let's just pop that going there, on how to make all of what I'm putting on this in the next week or two. But I will keep you informed. If you follow me on social media, you can find me on Facebook at Nikki Craft and on Instagram, Nikki Craft Designs. For some reason, Facebook didn't like the name Nikki Craft Designs. I have no idea why. So just going to move those leaves around on that one. And then just glue that down the bottom. I kind of mirror when I'm putting my flowers on. And then we'll go in and add some of these, some of those hollyhock on there. Oh, that one jumped off. There. As I say, I don't want to overload it, but I do want quite a few on there. You know when you get something in your head, you know what you want to create. Well, I've had it in my head for a few days, and this has all been set out on my table ready to do the video, but I just haven't had a chance to get around to doing it. And it's like, I know where I'm going with it, but I also know me, and things change. So these are on wires again. These are tiny, these are the tiniest from the Hollyhock collection. And the thing is, when you've got them on wires, you can sort of move them around a little bit, and you can get some height in there as well. And I've got another one there with just 2 on. So whatever I don't use in this, I can actually use on another card. Maybe that one that I've just done the base with. So if you're wondering, so where did you come, you know, where's this card come from? Well, basically I did it in a Facebook Live. And I didn't have my glue gun on, so I didn't get to finish it. So then I completely did a new one the other day. And unfortunately, I had a problem with my phone and lost everything off of my phone, including the YouTube video that I did. Okay, I didn't cry about it. I almost cried about it. I just thought, okay, we'll do another one. And here it is. So this is what I'm doing now. So, yeah, never give up. Just keep on going. You know, we're crafters at the end of the day. We've got this. So I might actually bring those 2 up there. So we'll pop that there. We'll pop some of these leaves. So I'm going to trim these, cut them up. So these are from the Classic Rose collection. Okay. So yeah, so this is like literally the 3rd time I've actually attempted to either do a Facebook Live or a video. But do you know what? I'm actually really glad it happened, because just look at this card. I spent all day Sunday making more flowers and things, and I really enjoyed myself actually making these roses. And as I say, came up with a brilliant idea of doing another video that I can share with you all on how to make these roses. And I probably made about 20 different roses, so there's a great video coming up. As I say, it'll be towards the end of next week, because I am in the middle of prepping for some class kits as well. So again, if you don't really know much about me, I do classes as well. All the information you can find on my social media pages or in my craft group. And my craft group is called Nikki and Friends Crafting with Heartfelt Creations and More. And I also have a class group which is called Crafting at Home with Nikki Craft Designs. But I will link all those. I think my Facebook is in my bio. But if you're new to me and you can't find me, just leave a comment and I will find the comment and I will answer you as soon as I can. And please, I like your feedback. So if you've got anything to say, good or bad, about my videos, do they go on too long? Do I faff too much? Do you want more of them? Do you want to see more of something else? Then do leave a comment, because it really does help me know whether or not I'm actually doing things right for everyone. Because after all, this channel is for everyone out there in the crafting world, whether you're a beginner just looking for inspiration. Go. Kind of happy with where I'm going. I'm just a little bit disappointed that we haven't got a bit more pink in there. So I'm going to add some more roses. So this is the bigger rosebud. Okay, so we're just going to pop that under there. So it kind of comes there. And then we'll pop this one. Pop that down there, I think, in that gap there. So this is a slightly smaller one. Just sort of what I call cluster them together. Okay, then I've got some little tiny ones. I've got a few more on those wires. So these are singles. Just pop them on there. Like that. Do keep watching to the end, because you're probably going to want to know how I actually finish off this card, and I've got still lots more to do. I am trying not to take my time too much so that it doesn't go on forever, but I've sort of like decided to go to town with this a little bit. Okay, so I've got some really fun things going in there in a minute. Just bring that in there. So as you can see, that's how I kind of put my card together. I like to sort of have a nice spray. Make sure you don't go over your sentiment there. Kind of always like to, the composition of it, sort of balance it quite sort of like, so you've got bits at the top and at the bottom, and you've got things coming from the side. But it has to kind of balance, and I think this is balancing quite nicely. I'm actually going to bring that down there. May add another leaf. So pop that there, and I just need one leaf, I think, with some little frondy bits. So we're going to cut those. Oops, thrown a rose over the other side. There. Bring that under like that. I'm quite happy with that. So I'm just going to lift it up slightly so I can see what it looks like. I'm quite happy with that. Then we have the butterfly. We've got to have the butterfly on, right? So I've got a vellum layer on the butterfly. Okay, that I've used some embossing powder. So embossing powder I've used is Vintage Romance by Wow Embossing Powder. I will put the links underneath for you. Then I've used that filigree part from the delightful Daffodil collection. And I've also, I think I stamped it out with that one as well. I kind of mixed and matched it up a bit. And then this is some voile. Okay, so this comes on a large roll that I got from Amazon. Again, I will put a link in the bio. They are absolutely massive rolls. Okay, I think they're about $7.99. It's going to go on forever, and that is like a rainbow effect. So you've got various different colours going through it. So it's now deciding where am I going to put that, and I am actually going to cut that off because you are not going to be seen. So I'm not going to waste you. I'm actually going to, I want to sit my butterfly at the bottom here. Okay, so I'll put a nice big clump of glue there, and then my butterfly will sit just there. I might actually, right, just make sure you don't glue underneath. I'm actually going to move it if it will glue, and it won't. There we go. Just make sure that's going right. Just make sure that has not gone through so it doesn't glue onto there. I have got a little bit of glue, but I can tidy that up. All right. So what I'm going to actually do is, so I don't do that again, just pop some card under there for a minute. And then I've got a few accents that I want to add. Now, this is what I was saying about you've got to watch to the end, because I've got some more filigree bits from that filigree collection. I am using my glue gun still. Just be careful you don't spill it like I've just done there, because then it's sort of like instant grab. Okay, this is just going to finish it off. So I think there was 2 dies in this again, so you've got a lefty and a righty in this. So I can just pop that up there. Again, I'm trimming them, if you're wondering what I'm doing off camera. That's where I'm just trimming them. And then that one can go in there. And then go under there, so they're mirroring it. I don't know why I can't say that. Mirroring it just slightly. And this is actually, this video is going to be in 2 parts, and I decided to do it in 2 parts because if you just wanted to watch me put the card together and get the inspiration of that, that's fine. So you don't want to watch me finishing it off. So I am going to be decorating it. I've got some pearls. I've got some other bits that I want to put in here as well. Pearls, some glitters. What else have I got all there? I've got, oh my goodness. Oh, what haven't I got? I've got some glitter rocks that are going in here as well. So do watch part 2 if you want to actually see how I finish off my card. And it isn't just this card as well. It's going to give you some inspiration on how to finish off your cards, because sometimes, you know, you can go from a pretty gorgeous card to an absolutely, oh my goodness, wow card by just adding a few finishing touches. I mean, this is beautiful and I do like it, but I think it could have a little bit more. I'm going to pop that right under there, that one, and I want one that comes this way. So can you see how this is really coming together now? I've gone from a beautiful card to an already wow card, and that's before I even finished decorating it. Okay, just put a couple of those bits. I've also got some smaller bits here as well in some of that gold that I'm going to, oh no, am I going to need them? I might just add a couple of these. I'm not going to add many. Just add a little bit of glue. Just in a few places. This is a great die collection. I think it was it a Black Friday one, or kind of thinking that it might have been a Black Friday collection. Honestly, I've had that many collections, I can't remember. But Black Friday seems to ring a bell. Or it might have been January 2022 even. Honestly, I can't believe where the year's gone. But just look at that, all coming together. Completely different look to the other 2 cards that I made, but using exactly the same concept. makes it easier. If you've lost your mojo a little bit, go back to some of your favourite cards that you've made and recreate it using just a different collection, maybe a completely different brand. It doesn't even have to be the same brand, but you can use that same design just to get that mojo going, to say, you know, we're crafters, we all lose our mojo sometimes. And I did. I needed to find something quick for a Facebook Live. So I went through and I thought, you know what, I like that card. I'm going to recreate it, but in different colours. As I say, it didn't quite work because I couldn't finish it off. But hey, it worked well. Really, in some respects, I'm going to put one of these little blossoms from the Hollyhock just in there. Like that. Just under there. I think I am going to step away. I'm just going to lift it up. Make sure I'm happy with it. Yeah, I'm loving that. Absolutely loving it. Just don't know whether to, I might add one dark leaf. So this is from the Riviera collection. Chop that up, just put that under there, just to add a little bit of dark under there. See where my thought process goes? It's sort of like, I am actually a florist by trade, and I've been doing it for years and years, and I use it in my card making as well. I think it's sort of like, I just want to balance it out with colour and, you know. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving that. What do you think? Okay, so you lift it up, you've got your sentiment in there, but do come back, okay? Watch the next video if you want to see it all glittered up and pearls on, because already that's looking like a wow card. So it was from this one to this one that I made in the purple. And there will be pictures on my Pinterest and, as I say, on social media. And then to that one. 3 different cards. I will put those down there. Let me just make some room on camera. There we go. Those 2 and then that one. 3 cards, completely different looks. Thank you for watching, and I really do hope I have inspired you to go into your craft room and start creating with whatever you are making. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks very much, and don't forget to watch that next video. Bye.